A newly released police report tonight uncovers the motive for the murder of a Western Michigan University student named Aniyah Mack.
Lewis shows these text messages from Pastor Strickland to Mack, where Strickland says he's trying to give the WMU student the best she's ever had.
He's got something in his hand. Something in his hand.
On a quiet summer night in June 2018, the Kalamazoo Police Department received what seemed like a routine call, a missing persons report. A concerned friend had reached out, worried about 24-year-old Aniyah Mack, a bright and promising psychology student at Western Michigan University. She had not been seen or heard from in days, an unusual absence that raised alarms among those who knew her best.
It's unlikely
to just not answer her phone, it sounds like.
If anything is going on, I'm like pretty much the only person that she has here besides her family. But like me and her, we have been best friends for 24. I'm only 24, but we have been best friends our entire being, basically.
When officers arrived at Hunter Ridge Apartments, where Aniyah lived, they expected to find an overworked college student who had simply taken a break from social interactions.
It's a roommate's room with the TV flashing.
So it looks like somebody is home.
Maybe not. He's working on getting a phone number for a roommate right now.
Hi, is this Cora? Cora, this is Aniyah's best friend. Are you at home? Aniyah has been missing for 2 days, to my understanding. I drove all the way here from Muskegon because yes, because the police are here as well.
Is she up there?
She's coming here. Okay, thank you.
But as they stepped onto the property, they noticed something strange. Inside the apartment, the unsettling discoveries continued. The bathtub was filled with water, as if someone had started a bath but never taken it. A television was left on, flickering against the walls of an empty apartment. The laundry machine was running, containing men's clothes mixed with household linens. But of Aniyah herself, there was no sign.
When's the last time you were here before?
This morning I came back from work around like 6 and I went to the movies and I came back here.
When's the last time you saw her?
Not before Saturday. I left home for graduation. I graduated Saturday.
You come in.
And then this is her room right here. But someone was here today because they turned on the air and they put some clothes in the washer. So when I was gone, like I thought maybe she came. But
Have you seen her boyfriend around here?
I haven't seen anybody, honestly. But I left for the weekend, so I thought maybe she just went home.
At first glance, there were no clear signs of foul play. But as investigators would soon discover, this was no ordinary disappearance.
I think it's just a little fishy. He's the only person we haven't talked to.
Yeah, so why? She's gonna end up calling in the morning.
I hope so. Where the hell's she been at though? Both of her cars are here. Boyfriend has no car. Her best friend, her parents, her god sister, her pastor. She's been at work.
And from what other people have said, has the boyfriend been around her the last couple of days?
Well, he claims he hasn't seen her since Sunday either.
What about talking with her?
Yeah, I need to get that from him.
Aniyah Mack was the kind of person who lit up every room she entered. With an infectious laugh, a sharp mind, and a compassionate heart, she had spent her entire life striving for excellence. In high school, she was a star student, an athlete, and an active member of various clubs. Even in college, her passion for helping others was evident. She worked at Great Lakes Alternative Research Center, assisting children with autism. Her personal life was just as full. She had a strong support system of friends and family who adored her. She was deeply involved in her church, singing in the choir and dancing with a local performance group. Those closest to her knew she was driven, hardworking, and had big dreams for her future. But Aniyah also had a secret struggle. Her relationship with Donovan Lewis, a 25-year-old former community college basketball player and YMCA lifeguard. The relationship, though seemingly normal on the surface, was riddled with conflicts, insecurities, and toxic patterns. Friends had noticed red flags. Donovan could be possessive, jealous, and prone to outbursts of anger. Anaya had confided in some friends about past incidents, but no one could have predicted just how dangerous things would become.
Do you think this is an actual? Like an actual missing person?
Well, nobody knows where she's at right now. She's missing.
Like, okay, well, I mean,
Do I think that she's endangered? No. Absolutely not. We've got nothing to lead us to believe that she's endangered other than the fact that boyfriend was an asshole at one point.
I don't know. There's still somebody coming and going from the apartment. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
But like roommate hasn't seen her in almost a week. He doesn't think anything of it.
The last time anyone had spoken to Anya was on Sunday, June 24th, 2018. That evening, she and Donovan had yet another argument, this time over messages Donovan found on her phone. These messages, sent by Pastor Strickland, a respected community leader, led Donovan to believe that Ania was cheating on him. The idea of another man in Ania's life, especially someone with power and influence, sent him into a jealous rage. Ania, fed up with the accusations, told Donovan she wanted him to leave for good.
Like, if she was going somewhere, she would definitely pack her makeup. That's here. This looks like what would be her purse. A bag that she do her hair stuff with. That's here. Like, I'm just like, what the
She began packing his belongings into a suitcase, preparing to finally end their relationship. But Donovan snapped. As tensions escalated, he punched Ania, knocking her unconscious. Consumed by anger and betrayal, he went to the kitchen, grabbed a large butcher knife, and slit her throat before stabbing her multiple times. Realizing what he had done, he placed a garbage bag over her head, stuffed her body into the suitcase she had been using to pack his things, and zipped it shut. With her lifeless body hidden away, Donovan cleaned up the crime scene as best he could. He disposed of the mattress cover, wiped down surfaces, and removed items that could contain blood evidence. But he needed a way to permanently get rid of the body. The next day, under the cover of darkness, he carried the suitcase to a dumpster near her apartment. But as panic set in, he feared someone might find it. That night, he retrieved the suitcase, borrowed his mother's van, and drove to Comstock Creek, a secluded waterway outside the city. There, he waded into the water, sank the suitcase in the muddy depths, and left, believing his crime would never be discovered. It all began with Pastor Strickland's cryptic messages, words that ignited a dangerous spark of doubt in Donovan's mind. Now let's look into the case to find out more about the pastor's connection to Ania Mac's tragic story. Was he just an innocent figure whose words were misunderstood, or was there something more behind them? As we uncover the clues, we might discover a truth that changes everything we thought we knew. When police first entered Ania Mac's apartment, they were met with an unsettling combination of normalcy and strangeness. There were no obvious signs of forced entry, a struggle, or visible blood stains.
Yeah, somebody definitely came in today, for sure. Because when I left, the air wasn't on.
Does her boyfriend ever come over here and do any laundry or anything?
Yeah, they always do laundry together.
Okay.
So it's not like out of the ordinary.
Does he have a key?
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody was here because I don't think he has a key. Usually, if he's coming, like, I'll leave the door unlocked. Like, if I know he's here, or like she'll leave the door unlocked.
I don't even see her key.
Things officers typically looked for in missing persons or homicide cases. The apartment appeared lived in, with the television still on and the air conditioning running. But the eerie absence of Ania herself made everything feel wrong. The more officers searched, the more bizarre details they uncovered. The bathtub was full of water, as if someone had drawn a bath but never got in. The washing machine was mid-cycle, containing men's clothing and household linens, including bath mats that were missing from the bathroom floor. It was as if someone had been cleaning up or covering their tracks, but there was no clear evidence to suggest what had happened. Outside, the mystery deepened. Ania's white 2008 Chevy Malibu was parked in the lot, missing its license plates. Strangely, another identical white Malibu sat nearby, but this one had her plates attached, despite being registered to a man named Gustavo.
Did you hear what I found out about the plates? Her car, her Malibu over there in the corner, the plates missing off of it. I found it on another Malibu, a couple spots down. It's not registered to her, which is kind of strange.
Somebody swapped the plates on the cars?
Yeah. There's a white Malibu that comes back to her by the VIN. No plate. The plate that belongs on it is on another Malibu. A few spots down, another white Malibu, somebody else's name.
Gustavo fella?
Yeah.
Both cars had flat tires, making it clear that neither had been driven in recent days. This raised a troubling question. If Ania had left, how did she go? Officers began speaking with Ania's friends, family, and neighbors, piecing together the last known moments before she vanished. They learned that no one had spoken to her since Sunday, June 24th, days before she was officially reported missing. The more people they interviewed, the more it became clear that her boyfriend, Donovan Lewis, was a person of interest. Friends described a troubled relationship filled with jealousy, control, and emotional abuse. They recounted past incidents where Donovan had been physically aggressive, including an altercation where he trapped Ania's arm in a car window and drove off with her stuck. They revealed that the couple had frequent arguments, often over Donovan's insecurities and accusations of infidelity. Despite these warning signs, there was no concrete evidence linking him to her disappearance, at least not yet. The police tried to contact Donovan, but he was nowhere to be found. Calls went unanswered, and he was not at any of his usual locations. At this point, authorities did not yet have proof of a crime, but Donovan's absence only deepened their suspicions. If he was truly worried about his missing girlfriend, why had he not reached out? Why was he avoiding law enforcement? As officers stood outside Ania's apartment discussing the strange circumstances of the case, they were blindsided by an unexpected turn of events. A man suddenly approached them from the shadows. It was Donovan Lewis. Before they could even ask him a question, he calmly looked at them and confessed, "I killed my girlfriend."
What's going on, sir?
Right here, we talk about on the way.
Just tell me now.
I killed my girlfriend.
Where is she? Where is she?
She's in the creek.
Where at? You got any weapons on you, Don?
I don't have anything, so.
You get that down. Alright, I gotta read some stuff to you real quick, okay?
It was a moment that stunned the officers. Most investigations take weeks or even months before a suspect confesses, if they ever do. But here was Donovan standing before them, admitting to murder without hesitation. It was as if he had already made peace with his fate, knowing there was no way out. Officers immediately placed him under arrest, but their work was far from over. They still had one major question left to answer. Where was Ania?
Is she in the trunk of one of these cars?
No. He told us that he's in creeks around the east side. So I'm thinking maybe on the east side of the town soon.
In the creek?
In a creek.
Okay. Well, that took a twist.
Yeah, I'm thinking that way at all.
The moment Donovan Lewis calmly confessed to killing Ania Mack, the investigation shifted from a missing persons case to a homicide. The officers, momentarily stunned by his blunt admission, quickly sprang into action.
He chooses to spontaneously utter things after the fact. Then that's him. Okay? You've already told him twice now. Hey man, you don't want to talk, you don't have to talk, those kind of things. Okay? When you go back in, move his chair to the other side of the table.
Okay.
Okay? And just tell him, I don't want you in that corner. I'd like you closer to me. My sergeant's gonna know all about safety.
So stay where I'm at?
Let's stay where you're at. Put him over in that little corner so we can see him.
Okay.
Despite his sudden confession, police couldn't simply take his word for it. A murder confession, while significant, is only as strong as the evidence backing it up. They needed to know where Ania's body was, how he killed her, and whether he was telling the whole truth.
What's been going on?
Just had a rough week. Last week, the car had to pass through Launder. That tire went flat.
Oh, is that what happened?
It was a slow week, so you had to keep refilling it and refilling it. And on Sunday, when we went to my family lighthouse, she wanted to go to church. She went outside, the front tire was flat.
Think somebody's doing it? Or you think the car's just old and the tires are bad, or what?
I don't know. Whatever she got going on with the passenger.
Oh.
And when she got the car, she told me the mechanic came to pick her up, and she told me, you know, she got a new car, like a loaner car from the church. And recently she told me, I kind of gave her, I told her I want to have a sit down with her because he ended up picking her up and apparently threatened her.
The pastor threatened her over the car. Why?
Because she was using him. She told him she would tell. And he said, "You can't do this to me."
How was he using her? Like they had a relationship or something going on, you mean?
I went through her phone.
Who's her pastor? Which church she goes to?
Second Baptist, right there by the bus station.
Okay.
Pastor Stu. And I went through her phone. She tussled with me about her phone. You know, she died on her phone. Kind of got in like a fetal position with on her knees and her hands and saw that I was a pastor and saw what he said. And, you know, she kind of just gave up. And gave her the phone. And all the time she was laughing. Grinning. When she gave me the phone, she was grinning and laughing. Because you know, okay, if I do make that accusation, she could have that reaction that she had.
Donovan, however, seemed oddly cooperative. He didn't ask for a lawyer, nor did he hesitate to answer their questions. He described in detail how he had stuffed her into a suitcase, transported her in his mother's van, and sank her body in the muddy depths of the creek. Despite his admission, investigators weren't willing to take everything at face value. It was possible that he was hiding key details or leaving out elements of the crime. They also needed physical evidence to support his claims. The next step was clear: recovering Anaya's body and verifying every part of Donovan's story.
It's a little bit sloped right there.
Now, Donovan, did you have her on this side of the guardrail first? In a suitcase, or did you bring her all the way down here?
All the way down.
All the way down here? Okay, so you wheel her in the suitcase all the way down here? Okay. And you park back up by where the SUV is? And how do you
Where the white truck is?
10 feet that way? And how do you get her in the water? You just threw her in the suitcase into the water. Okay, and this is the right spot? Okay, where do you want these guys to go? Straight. Straight down?
Switch sides so the sun's not in my
Sure, no problem.
We're on camera, guys. Here we
Yep, we're on camera.
Suitcase. Evidence.
All right.
Would you want to get it closer?
You guys open confirm already?
Yeah.
Which way turn around?
I think all the way out, and then probably hand the rope back to someone in the back.
Yep. I'll tie off.
All right.
The first major breakthrough came when police followed Donovan's directions to Comstock Creek. A specialized search and recovery team, equipped with boats, sonar technology, and divers, combed the area. Hours passed before they finally located a large, heavy suitcase submerged in the water, weighed down by mud and debris. Inside, they found Ania's lifeless body, just as Donovan had described. The discovery was heartbreaking, but critical. It meant they had irrefutable proof of the crime. Forensic pathologists conducted a thorough autopsy, which revealed multiple stab wounds and a deep slash across her throat, confirming homicide as the cause of death. The examination also contradicted some of Donovan's claims. While he insisted that he had attacked her in a moment of rage, the injuries suggested a prolonged, violent struggle. Some of the wounds were defensive, meaning Anaya had fought for her life. This evidence undermined any attempt at a self-defense claim and painted a picture of a premeditated killing. As the prosecution prepared for trial, a disturbing subplot emerged. Investigators uncovered that Donovan had made previous attempts to cover up the crime, including cleaning Anaya's apartment, disposing of evidence, and misleading her friends about her whereabouts. He had even tried to maintain the illusion that Anaya was still alive. In the days after her murder, he had used her phone to send messages to friends and family, possibly to buy himself time before suspicion fell on him. These details shattered any argument that this was a crime of passion committed in the heat of the moment.
Hello, I'm looking to speak with Pastor Strickland.
This is he.
Hi there. This is Sergeant Charles Trepa, Kalamazoo Public Safety. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, sir?
Not too bad, sir. I got a voicemail message from Chief Boyce and saying that you had some questions about an automobile.
Yes, sir. One of the automobiles that was taken related to the Anaya Mack murder.
Yes, sir.
One of those vehicles belongs to my wife.
Okay.
And we are trying to recover it.
However, the story took another shocking turn when Pastor Strickland, the man whose messages had sparked Donovan's jealous rage, was exposed for unrelated criminal activity. Months after Anya's murder, law enforcement uncovered disturbing allegations against him, revealing that he had been involved in crimes involving minors within his congregation. While he was never directly implicated in Ania's case, the discovery of his crimes added another layer of betrayal to an already devastating story. A man who was supposed to be a leader in the community had been abusing his position of power for his own selfish, immoral desires. Strickland was later arrested and pleaded guilty in 2023 to charges related to and the exploitation of minors. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison, a sentence that many viewed as far too lenient given the nature of his crimes. His downfall, though separate from Anya's murder, only deepened the tragedy surrounding the case, one that seemed to expose corruption, betrayal, and the hidden darkness lurking beneath the surface of seemingly normal lives.
We have video of the ending of a manhunt for a suspected murderer who escaped from the Kalamazoo County Jail.
His name's Donovan Lewis. He's now back in custody. He's charged with open murder in the June death of Anaya Mack. The two had been dating. He told police that he was jealous of her relationship with a local high-profile pastor. Police say that's why he killed her and then put her body in a suitcase.
While awaiting trial in Kalamazoo County Jail, Donovan shocked authorities once again by orchestrating a daring escape attempt. During recreational time, he took advantage of a brief lapse in security, scaling 2 15-foot fences topped with razor wire. He suffered deep cuts from the razor wire but managed to reach the outer perimeter before officers caught up to him just 30 minutes later. His escape attempt not only added additional criminal charges, but also revealed his willingness to go to extreme lengths to avoid facing justice. Facing overwhelming evidence, Donovan chose to accept a plea deal. Initially charged with first-degree murder, which carried a mandatory life sentence, he instead pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, reducing his sentence to 25 to 40 years in prison. The plea deal, though controversial, spared Ania's family the agony of a lengthy trial and guaranteed that Donovan would be held accountable. During sentencing, Donovan finally spoke in court, expressing regret for his actions.
I can't imagine the hurt that I've caused. I don't even know the beginning. I just want to say sorry to the family. That's all.
When I sentence you, Mr. Lewis, I balance the principles of punishment, rehabilitation, protection of society, as well as deterrence. Particularly, you being cooperative, taking full responsibility, not minimizing your role in this, and expressing a level of remorse. A decent education. There are a lot of good things here that you had developed over your life, Mr. Lewis, and you threw all of that out the window back on June 24th. Anaya Mack didn't deserve any of these things. She didn't deserve to be hit to begin with. She didn't deserve to be put unconscious. She didn't deserve to be stabbed and murdered. And her body didn't deserve to be treated less than garbage. And all of that happened because of you, nobody else.
Anaya's family delivered powerful victim impact statements describing the unbearable loss they suffered. The judge, while bound by the plea agreement, did not mince words. Before handing down the sentence, he told Donovan, "You took the life of a young woman who had everything ahead of her. No sentence I give you will ever undo that, but you will spend the next decades behind bars, and that is the justice you deserve." With the trial concluded, Donovan was led away in handcuffs, sentenced to decades in prison, but Ania's family would never get her back. The justice system had played its role, but the emotional scars left behind would last forever. As Donovan Lewis was led away in handcuffs, sentenced to decades behind bars, The courtroom remained filled with an overwhelming sense of loss. Justice had been served in the legal sense, but for Anya Mack's family and friends, no amount of prison time could bring her back.
How do you feel now with the sentence?
I feel good because my sister is okay with the sentence, and so I'm okay with it.
You spoke about forgiveness, not wanting to take pain for pain, but hoping that he can live with what he's done. Can you talk about that?
He have to live with it for the rest of his life. You know, whether he was sincere with what he said in the courtroom or not, he has to live with it. And I hope he can. And I meant that. I haven't forgiven him. My sister, I haven't. And in time, I'm sure I will, but not now.
The murder of Ania Mack was more than just another crime story. It was a sobering reminder of how quickly jealousy, insecurity, and possessiveness can turn into something deadly. It was a case that highlighted the hidden dangers of toxic relationships, the warning signs that so many victims ignore or rationalize, and the devastating consequences of ignoring them. Her story became a testament to the fact that every red flag matters. Every toxic relationship has the potential to turn deadly, and every life lost to domestic violence is one too many. Ania Mack should still be here, and while justice was served in the legal sense, true justice would have been a world where Ania was still alive, still pursuing her dreams, and still spreading joy to everyone who knew her. In her absence, those who loved her continued their mission to make sure that her death was not in vain and that her story could save others from the same fate. If you found this story informative and eye-opening, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread awareness about domestic violence and toxic relationships.